Hi, I'm Lydia with Raindrop Lila, and today I'd like to share a few tips or ideas of how I organize my crafting space and my crafting supplies. But first, I also want to say don't be too hard on yourself. Basically, give yourself some grace. This is something that I've kind of had to think about. Basically, it takes time to get to where you want to be. I really love a beautifully aesthetic space with the perfect storage solutions for all the little bits and pieces and all the papers. But a lot of times it takes time to get there. It takes time to find those pieces that are really pretty, aesthetic, and also really functional and practical. But you can also find temporary solutions that will basically help you stay organized and keep things in order. So here is a corner of my workspace, and basically this is where I put things away and where I store some of my supplies when I'm not using them or in between projects. Okay, and here is what looks like a card catalog, but actually it is not. My husband actually built this when he was a producer for a radio show, and each little drawers actually held little tapes of the radio program. And actually it works really well for my stamps and my ink pads, and then I have even some sewing supplies in some of these drawers. It wasn't always this pretty. It was more of an orange originally, and it had different knobs on it, and so I actually sanded it down and I gave it this dark stain. And then my husband surprised me with these drawer pulls from Amazon. I think they were from Amazon. But anyway, so I thought they were the perfect touch, and I really love this piece. I think it's one of my favorite pieces of furniture that he made. Okay, so up here I actually keep my scrapbooks. I used to do a lot of scrapbooking before I started junk journaling, and so this is where I keep some of them, and I even have some like photo albums up here, and so I like them up here because they're easily accessible. Okay, so here I put basically just like a screw up here, and then this is just a photo of my daughter, and then down here I have a clipboard, and it's really convenient. I have my envelope template on there, and then I have these. They're basically cutting mats, and I actually haven't used them yet, but I need to get one of those rotary cutters, I think, so I can use it. But I put it on here because it's so nice. It's so easily accessible, and it's pretty big, as you can see. So it kind of tucks in there, and it's not really in view, but it's really convenient. Okay, so this corner right here, I kind of love this little shelf I have up there. I actually painted it black, and I keep some of my mini journals in there, and then on the bottom there I think this is just a shower hook, and I painted this black also. And then I just hung this little red vintage purse from there, and inside I have basically some fall leaves, some garlands for fall basically that I made. And then I have like a birthday banner in there, so they're all kind of just tucked in there, and that's just like an easy storage solution. So here I have a shelf, and I like to keep my books at the top. Those are some of my kids' books, and then the second shelf is just really perfect for keeping my scrapbooks or my junk journals that I've made. Okay, and here is another really cute storage solution. I actually picked up this little basket from the Dollar Tree, and I think it's so perfect. I keep my cards here and my envelopes. These are a bunch of handmade envelopes. Actually, I even have some note cards and some envelopes that are purchased also. So I keep everything in here. They're really handy and easy to get to. And here is another box, and this is a pretty easy DIY. Basically, I have a box here and I keep all my coffee dyed papers, tea dyed papers, and also I have some book pages in there and some notepads that I like to use in my journals. So as you can see, I have some printables in there, some craft paper, I have all kinds of stuff in there. So they're folded in half so that they can fit. It's just a nice fit if I have them all folded in half. Plus it's like really easy to use. I just pull them out and add them to my journals. And as you can see here, this was basically a box, and I just wrapped it in some craft paper. And you can see it's gotten kind of old, so part of it kind of tore off. And I wrapped it around with a ribbon. And it kind of ties in, I think it ties in pretty good with that vintage look. I could probably update it and cover it with some new paper, but for now it works for me. Here I have some more of those acrylic Ferrero Rocher boxes that I've been saving these little acrylic boxes for years, and I really love using them. So here I have some dried flowers, and some of them are basically just some ephemera and some paper scraps. And then at the top I have a journal that I haven't finished yet, that is just kind of waiting for me to finish. And then over here in the corner I have this little tin case with some flowers in it, and I have a little journal on top of it. So you can see you can I love to use little vintage pieces for organizing. This is a vintage purse that I'm using, and inside I have basically some ribbons and laces, and when I need to use it I just grab it and take it to my desk. This little suitcase I have some napkins and some more ephemera. And then here I really love this little piece here. So this is just a little container with some mini journals or scrapbooks that I've made. Okay, so this is another little tin, and it has ephemera in it. Then I have books that I like to use for my journals. And then let's see, these are some more journals. This is actually an ephemera folder that I made. I actually watched Martina with Teal and Tatter, and she has a great tutorial on how to make it, and so this just holds a bunch of ephemera pieces. And then I have some more books on the bottom there, just for basically using in my journals. Okay, so I have another little corner here. This right here is a little cubby that my husband made, and what I like to do, basically I keep my wallpaper up here and anything that's kind of oversized. And then I have, again, more paper, printables, coffee dyed paper. It's kind of a mess. I'm going to have to clean it up a bit, but I kind of know where everything is, and I have a spot where everything goes. So I like to keep my wallpaper in here, and then just different papers, just a lot of different papers. And again, I'm going to have to go through and label them. They were actually originally labeled like this, but they all kind of fell out. And so I'm going to have to go through and label them and find some more of these little label holders. But I love this little piece that I have here, and it's actually sitting on a tiny little palette. I got a lot of dust, especially when I'm coming up so close. Now I see all the dust everywhere. I'm gonna have to dust everything, but basically my workspace is in our, it's like a converted garage, so it gets pretty dusty down here, but it works for me. It's just my crafting workspace, so I'm okay with that. And I really love this little cubby. It's really functional, and originally my husband made it to keep our kids' school supplies in it, but now they only have 2 cubbies and I kind of took it over. So basically, I like to just look around my house and try to repurpose what I already have, or maybe what's not being used, and see if I can find a better use for it. So that's kind of what I did here with this piece. And here's a vintage suitcase that I have, and I like to use it for some more storage. I really felt like this basket here needed some height so that it would look right with the shelf that I have up there. And so that's why I use this briefcase here. Okay, so we're going back into this area, and I want to show you guys this table my husband made. He actually made these, this table with the drawers just perfectly wide enough for my scrapbook paper, so I keep my scrapbook paper in here. I actually have more than just, I have more storage for paper because I have a lot of paper for my crafting, but this is just one way I keep things. And I also keep some of my journals in, here. Okay, so they all kind of tuck in there, and these are some of my first journals that I made. This is like a bullet journal. This is more of a planner. This is like a mini planner. This is a regular journal. And so I like to hang on to all my journals, obviously, and I just keep them in here. And then these are just some books that I can use for my journaling. And I have some on a bookshelf also, and I'll show you guys. So drawers are really great because you can tuck things away and keep things nice and neat and know where to get them from. Okay, now down here I have 3 bins, and they were basically toy bins. And my husband made them to store our kids' toys, but as they got older, they needed them less, and so I kind of took these over again also, and I store my ribbons and my fabric in there. Okay, so I forgot about this little piece. I actually keep it under my desk or near my desk. And so what I keep in here is mostly my favorite vintage pieces, like what's really old. So I have some old letters in here. I have this old catalog in here. I also have some note pads in there. And then I have this really old diary, which I think is so cool. And I actually have photos from this person. So that's kind of like, I kind of keep everything that's really old in here. So the really cool thing is being able to kind of organize your pieces, and what I'm always looking for is for functional, cool looking ways to kind of store all my pieces or all my supplies. And here I have a few more pieces that I like to use for storage. Okay, so this is basically another place I keep a lot of my yarns and fabrics. This is an old vintage wedding dress that kind of fell apart. Look how pretty that is. Okay, so yeah, keep in mind that suitcases, at least if you're going for a vintage look, suitcases are really cool for storage. Okay, so now I came to my desk. My desk is still a bit of a mess. Actually, it's a bit of a big mess, but it's somewhat sorted and organized. I had a lot of projects going on, so I still wanted to keep a lot of these things out. Like this is a bunch of ephemera, again, Tim Holtz, just kind of a big mix. And so again, I'm using those acrylic Ferrero Rocher boxes. I've been actually hanging on to the boxes for a long time. Let's see. Then I have this little tray. This is from the Dollar Tree. Again, little bits and pieces. Okay, and then this is like a plastic. It's like a muffin tin. And again, this is just some more like grungy pieces that I have in there. Then I have these from, I think, Walmart or Dollar Tree. I can't remember. for my beads. And so some of this storage that I have isn't so pretty. Like this isn't pretty. It's still kind of a work in progress. I'm still going to be looking for some prettier solutions, but for now, this kind of keeps me organized. This is really pretty and I love to use it. I keep my keys in there. This is really pretty. Like how cute is this? Okay, this is perfect also. It was $1. I don't know where I got it from, but this actually keeps all my buttons in there. And I love the way this looks, kind of with the vintage theme. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is just little bits of fabrics, and I'm sorting stuff. If I'm using ephemera, like for my journals now, I just keep it like this, so I can kind of go through it and pick what I want to use. So this is a temporary solution. I will be wanting to replace this with maybe something wooden or tin or something that just kind of fits this space more. But for now, this keeps me somewhat organized. Okay, this is my crafting cart. It's not perfect, but it kind of works for me. I have stamps in here, and when I'm done with the stamps, I usually put them all away. And so I just like to have all these things kind of close and handy. This here was a temporary fix. I basically just taped some magnets to the back of these. Okay, so I wanted to show you these also. These are super handy to have for storage also. You can actually just decoupage on the top and make them pretty. And I haven't gotten to that part yet, but I want to show you guys what I have in here. Actually, this can go in my, I forgot I have these in here. This can go actually in that jar because I have more of this in that jar. It's so cool though. I think it's so pretty. This is just like from a field. It's some kind of weed or flower that we found in the field. Actually, I think it's milk thistle. So after it dries up, the flower turns white and it looks really pretty. It looks like feathers or like cotton. Okay, and then so yeah, these are great ways to kind of store little pieces. I have one here with little tiny fabric pieces, and so that's kind of a fun solution also for storing little bits. Okay, so these are tiny little acrylic containers, and I think my husband picked these up from the Dollar Tree. And what I did was I made these tiny little files, and I sorted out my my stamps based on theme. And so some of them aren't sorted, like these don't have files, but I did these ones. I think that's so cute and fun, and it's actually really functional also. It's easier to find what I'm looking for. Okay, and here I have this little bin, and I picked this up from the Dollar Tree, and I kind of just have everything that I use kind of on a daily basis. And I also like to take this with me if I'm working on a project and just kind of fill it up, or put everything away and fill it up with whatever current project I'm working on. Okay, so this is my other table, and I have this container here, and what I did was I have my journals in here. So a lot of these are not completed journals, and so I just tucked them in here. This was a gift, and then underneath I have some fabric and some yarn, so I can access that. Then I have my sewing machine right here. I just pulled it out, and so I need to kind of clean up this space, make it more functional maybe for me. I need to put these away. This was some Happy Mail that I received. And again, I picked these up from Okay, so this box I picked up from Costco, and what I did was I cut it and taped it, and I made it smaller so I can use it. And so I like to do that a lot because I can use them for a little bit and then I can toss them. I don't have to keep them. And then I have some Christmas stuff here that I still need to put away. And again, I have these bins. They're basically little, they're like trays. They're basically like cardboard trays, and I find them very functional because I like to use them for my current project, and then when I'm done and I put everything away, or I make a journal and put everything away, I can toss this. I don't need to keep it. So you can find boxes like this at grocery stores. You can even use a regular box and just you can cut it down, but how cute is this one? Okay, so I use this for sorting smaller bits and pieces, especially when after I have a huge project I work on and I have bits and pieces everywhere. That's what I did. When I cleaned up, I basically just sorted everything in different piles so that I can start putting things away. And so having something like this to sort things into makes my life easier, and I can just throw it away. I'm not stuck with like 100 little plastic bins. And so what you can do is you can even cover these up and use them. I think they'll last pretty long, but for me, when I'm in a rush, I'll just grab them. And I think this is kind of cute. I mean, what I like to do is just sort them and kind of go from there. That's my first step. When I have a big mess on my table is I sort things and then I'll start to put everything away. So this is like my paper scraps and some printables that I have. So that's kind of what I'm in the process right here. I sorted things into little containers like this. Those are paper scraps. And then the next part is where I put everything away. I take all the pieces and I put them back where they need to go. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.